Brilliant. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm excited for today's session because, I saw your teaser and your preview, and I think a lot of people, and what I see right now, and I think this is why this is such an important conversation we're going to have today. What there's a term, Matt, and this might be a new term for some of our viewers, but it's called AI slop.
Hmm.
AI slop. Basically, it's a slop bucket of AI cliches, AI language, AI indicators, and humans are becoming so adept at spotting anytime someone writes you an AI letter or you get an AI ad or you get an AI note from someone, it's so obviously AI.
Yeah.
And frankly, what I'm discovering personally, and I don't know if this is true for you or anyone who's watching right now, but when I receive a letter from someone and I know it went through AI like that, I'm automatically like, oh, I don't even want to read it. I don't want to read it because I know that you put no, I know you put very little thought into it. I know it's going to be, a bunch of perfectly orchestrated paragraphs. It's going to be overly wordy, overly
Hmm.
witty, and I just don't feel like I'm talking to a human anymore. And that's I think what's happening and what's going to continue happening is we're going to become more adept at this as we go. And I believe our customers and people we work with are going to begin downgrading you and me if we come across like we're using an AI bot to communicate with them. They're going to find themselves, I don't know if they'll be offended, but I think there's going to be a smell on the messaging.
Yeah. And I have many different minds on this because yes, AI slop is a real thing. I believe that we as a culture call way too many things AI slop. Like
Yeah.
now, if
Overused.
anything's generated with AI, it's AI slop. And that's not necessarily the case. And that's coming from somebody who trains on AI. But I also understand that I have a very different frame than maybe most of the people watching this do. And I'm so immersed in it that I am so sensitive that I can pick out like even things that are pretty sophisticated in their output in the writing. And I can tell it's AI pretty quickly, in images and in writing. But it's not so much that I want to skip through it or I want to skip past it or not engage with whatever it is. It's just there's this barrier of I, as the consumer of that information, need to overcome. I've got to take another step to overcome my prejudice of, oh, this was written with AI. And our
Yep.
customers aren't going to do that because our customers are like they're hiring us for trust. Like they need to trust us. They can't think that things that we're giving them, whether that be strategies or whether that be marketing content, is generated not by us, that it doesn't have our expertise behind it. So
If it,
it's like,
because I feel like if it, yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like
yeah.
if advice I'm receiving from a professional I'm hiring looks like they're outsourcing it to ChatGPT for everything, like that to me is like, gosh, I really want your brain on this one. I want to make sure that you're actually reading this. I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page. And I feel like sometimes you just mentioned the word trust. And so I again, I think using AI is absolutely powerful and you should be using it.
Hmm.
Thing is, I think that you should understand, and I think that's where we're gonna go here, is you should understand like, yes, use it, but also like think about your care about your customer enough where you almost edit it to a way where it's like, no, it's me, just with a little superpower behind me.
Hmm. Exactly. It's helps me organize my thoughts more clearly so that you can understand them. But these are all my thoughts. This is
Hmm.
all my expertise behind it. It's just slightly polished,
Yep.
better
Yep.
organized.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's a strange thing. And there's a blanket statement that goes over this entire session today and really over everything that I talk about that I don't believe that we should be 100% automating anything that goes to clients.
Hmm.
Everything, no matter how small or how fickle it may seem, needs to have your eyes on it at least, if
Yeah.
not your interpretation or your fingers deeply into it.
So
Um,
you're an orchestrator. You're not setting up a factory that's going to pump things out. You have to be there, kind of like maybe like an orchestrator would happen at like an actual orchestra, where like they're not just like, okay, we worked on this, guys. Okay, best of wishes with your performance tonight. They're up there watching every single beat, orchestrating the whole entire thing to make sure that they've got their eyes on it, that's going the right way, and adjusting in real time. I think that's
that's
maybe
a
the way I think about it.
beautiful analogy because there's like the conductor's not going to run down and
Yeah,
play
the
the
conductor,
oboe
the
and
conductor.
then go over and play the violin and
Right.
then run over and hit the tuba. No, like and that's like you in your business. You have all these different moving parts and if you want to scale your business to a point where you have a life and some free time, you can't possibly do all of them. So you can hire an assistant. I think I support hiring people whenever you can hire people. But also, there are things that you can use these tools for that allow you to conduct that oboe and like hit the drum beat there and
Yep.
just be the person, the mastermind behind your business, be the CEO.
Yep.
So,
Okay. Good. Okay. Well, we did a little intro there. I think that's a good little setting of the table here.
yeah. I'm gonna jump right in and share my screen because you know how I be.
Oh, let's jump right in.
Um, I'm
So,
just gonna
real
do
quick, Matt, for those who
yes.
are maybe didn't see the preview, what is our agenda for the day?
So the agenda for today, sorry, I'm on Facebook seeing if we can see this live here. Um, this is how to make your AI sound like you.
Perfect.
And this whole session was born from conversations that I have had at coffee talks that I've been to over the last few weeks. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the number one thing that keeps coming up. I use it to write listing descriptions. I use it to draft emails. I write an email and then I pump it into ChatGPT to check for grammar and spelling. And there's more sophisticated uses that I think we will all be on this journey that we will move toward with it. But this is a beautiful place to start. And one of the biggest stops in when people open up a chatbot of any kind and have it produce something for them, it comes back sounding like junk, and then you stop using it. And it's like, well, this just isn't for me. So we've got three ways to go about doing this today. And there's a beginner way, there's an intermediate way, and then there is a relatively advanced way. Um,
Can I interrupt you real quick?
yeah,
This website looks beautiful, by the way. Um,
cheers. Thank you.
when this is done, are you able to push this to like a live website that we could like share this right in here so they can come back to this page?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All
Of
right. Just
course.
want to let people know, like we will be able to providing this information to you in writing, so you can even just like jump through this and refresh your memory here.
Yeah, and these are all slides that in the follow-up email I can include these slides
Okay.
because they do include prompts that
Yep.
you will want to use too. Um,
Perfect. Awesome, Matt. Thank you.
yeah, of course, absolutely. This is again the power of AI. I made this in
Yeah.
about 30 minutes last
You're like,
night.
and now you're like, can you make this a live website? Absolutely, I can. One
Uh,
second.
there's nothing that's impossible. So,
Nice.
um, so version one, we're going to mimic a sample. And what I want to do today, from what I've learned from people, is that most of you watching this are using ChatGPT. Even though like Paul and I have said, hey, hop on Claude, give Claude a try, most people are using ChatGPT. And so that's where we're going to do a lot of this work. And a lot of it translates directly into Claude too. So if you are a Claude person, you can use these prompts in the same way. Um, but I mean, we're very simply, if you're in your own dedicated chat, and I'm going to show you, walk you through specifically how we do it, paste an email that you're proud of into
Hmm.
that chat first and tell it, mimic this email. Don't mimic any of the details in it, but here, this is the prompt. Here is an email that I wrote that sounds like me. And then you put the email in. Study the sentence length, word choice, structure, pacing, how I give advice. This is a really specific part, how I give advice that you don't get in other prompt packs from prompt craft people.
Yep.
How I give advice is important, and we'll go into that a little bit later. Now draft an email about this using those characteristics. Don't copy the sentences or the facts from the example. Just use it as a voice reference. And then
Yeah,
ask me any
use
questions
it
you
as a
need.
tone example. This is how I write.
Exactly. And then what I did, so I've already done the legwork here of this, and I will go back to the one off. So I just pasted that. Here's an email I wrote that sounds like me. And then what I did and what I suggest you do that isn't in one of these slides, I went into my Gmail. I clicked on the Gemini thing up
Hmm.
here and I said, what's the last well-worded longer email that I've written? Trying to find something to use as a voice reference. Boom. Pulls up all these things. I'm scrolling past them quickly because some of it has dates on it, but it just gave me a bunch of examples to look for.
Yeah. Nice. Okay,
Great.
cool.
Took
So
me,
so basically starting, find a piece you love that you've written that is like kind of like your gold star for how you want to communicate going forward.
yes, exactly. And so in this is the beginning of the prompt. that we saw right here, that sounds like me, then gets a little confusing the way ChatGPT does. This is a full email that I threw in there. And then it goes back into study the sentence length back to the prompt. So I just inserted that, my email, into the prompt. And then I gave it a topic. I just made something up that Marty McFly wants to purchase Doc Brown's home off market. He lives
Okay.
in the fictional town of Hill Valley, California. And then I just gave it context about what the house might be, what the situation is, and things like that. And the first thing that ChatGPT did was it asked me questions. Because if you remember, before writing, ask me questions you need to know about the audience, situation, and desired outcome. And this
Sure.
is, again, you've got one thing that you're trying to write here. This is taking a lot less time than you actually writing it. It's going to create something that will be sound like you, but will be well organized
So
for you.
basically, what you've said is you're with your AI, you've set the framework for what you're wanting. You're like, here's what your goal is, here's your mission, this is your job, here's your requirements. You must do these things. So if you just copy and save that prompt, you can
Mhm.
literally pop this in every time. Then it'll go, great, what are we doing? Bing, 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 bing. It'll run you through its own little questionnaire.
Yep, exactly. And this is, I mean, what does Doc know so far?
Mhm.
Have you guys talked to him? How
Yep.
do you want the $900,000 offer price position? Is this firm or are we starting like a conversation with him? What's Marty offering in exchange for the lower price? Just all of these things that would be really impactful to know if you were writing a proposal to somebody. So I answered the questions really quickly. Marty Zore approached Doc, knocked on the door in the middle of the night, what gave him a walkthrough. And then it spit out something that honestly, it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
I was pretty impressed with how it really took my example email and did it. And I think, did I do it correctly where I went down here? So I'm not going to read you the whole email because it's
But it's been
somewhat
on a nice
lengthy.
little, it's been on a nice little message. You're like, okay, you're like, I'm 85% happy with this.
Yes, exactly. And I asked it then, okay, what's the difference between this email and one that a generic, if I didn't put my voice prompt in, what would come out? And so it's it really like captured how I think I communicate just
Mm.
from one email, which again, I'm surprised that it was this sophisticated that it could gather that, but it knows that before I ask for anything from anyone, I like prove that
Yep.
you need what I want or you're going to accept what I want. It earns the number before asking for anything. And I always acknowledge what the negative is of what I'm bringing to somebody. Like I'll just say it out front before they can say it.
You kind of put the devil's advocate right in front of them to earn some trust.
Exactly. And so it did that. And then it goes into like, sentence length varies between short and long, and vocabulary is deliberately normal. I don't
Yeah.
add a lot of flowery stuff.
That's one
Um,
of the things that default ChatGPT and chatbots do is they'll use words and phrases that we just don't use in normal speak because they're just grabbing from a huge variety of examples. So
mhm.
yeah, it's like, no, I'm more of a simple communicator. Great, I'll use simple words, simple analogies. I won't over decorate your words.
Exactly. Yeah. Or, I mean, it tells me exactly what it did not use in here. Strategic opportunity,
Yeah.
seamless transaction.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like you're some sort of a calling service, being like, "Did you know we have a great opportunity for you?" And like,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
And I picked this. It's funny because it's Back to the Future, and I was having fun with it late last night. But this is if you are going to write a proposal to somebody who like may be considering their house, but they aren't like, hey, I'm ready to sell. Let's go.
yep,
Let's make a deal. You need to tiptoe around some of these things. It can't be overly
yeah,
salesy, in my opinion. It needs to be human somewhat. So these types of unique opportunity, trigger words, if someone approached me, I'd be like, this guy just wants to make a sale. And that's not
right.
what I want. I want Marty
You're
to
not
get the house.
selling them,
Exactly. So it just goes on to explain more about why it's different than anything that comes out. So it sounds like an agent who has looked at the situation, weighed both sides, formed an opinion, and is now explaining his reasoning to the homeowner. And
Which is, I
that's
think,
like,
is exactly what I'm looking for from a professional.
yeah, exactly. Someone who's taken the time to analyze what's going on and then
Yep.
presents options to both parties.
Yep.
Like that's the thing. So this is again, we will provide you with this prompt. Um, I will give you this website and this slide, and I will give you it in an email form as well. But
Perfect.
that's like, and all I did, you guys, just want to go back here and make this super clear for people who don't have any ChatGPT experience. I opened ChatGPT, I hit new chat. This was the screen I got. I copied this, I pasted it here.
Yep.
Boom. And then I pasted my email in. Whoops. And I wrote about what topic I wanted.
Yep.
That's it.
Cool. Love it. That's
So
super simple.
yeah, that's the goal.
Save a
So
lot of, it'll save someone a lot of rustling, especially for first timers who are kind of still getting the ropes of ChatGPT. Any of these chatbots, I think you've hit it right on the nail on the head here. Your initial prompt is going to impact your output significantly. So
mhm.
starting with a very good foundation on your first prompt will save you an hour of toiling and redrafts and redrafts and redrafts and redrafts.
Yes. And I mean this I would have been happy to send this email.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have edited just a couple things, but
Well,
that
that's
was
helpful, Matt. I'm excited to
pretty
see
solid.
the intermediate version now.
So the intermediate version goes into, thank you for moving me along. The intermediate version goes into finding the patterns behind your language and teaching that to your chat bot. And so you're going to provide multiple examples of your emails. And what I didn't have time to do, but is the best case scenario here, is if you also provide transcripts from any calls that you've had or scripts that you've written, um, Instagram reels that you've made where you have said something that feels really
Yep.
like that sounds like me because you can this prompt will give you a written voice and a spoken voice and they are
Yep.
different. I write a lot differently than I speak.
But you could
So
copy and paste text messages here, Matt. You could copy and paste emails here. You could copy and paste Instagram posts you've put that you liked your language or you're like, hey guys, if you didn't know this, blah 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 blah. Things that you've communicated, anything you've communicated to teach it how you communicate.
yes. And this would be going in and getting your best examples.
Yep.
This isn't, the group chat that you made a joke and nobody laughed at. This
Yep.
is the your business and where you have felt really proud of what you have sent. Um, so for that, you copy the prompt. And what you're going to do again is you're just going to start a new chat. Boom. I'm gonna,
Exit this, repaste, paste over this one.
yeah, you can just,
Yep.
copy, boom, 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 paste. And that's going to go in its own chat. You don't have to start a project with this. You don't have to worry about anything. Just a
No,
regular
Matt,
old
can I
chat.
interrupt you real fast?
Yeah.
I don't want, but now that we're in the intermediate here,
Hmm.
I see that you have a plugin down there. It looks like the Google Gmail plugin.
Yes.
Could you theoretically ask it to go into your emails on its own to go look at your sent emails and dig up examples yourself right from the chat?
Absolutely. And you could do that. It would be fast. It might not be the best
Might not be the best
examples.
example, but you couldn't have pinched me like, hey, dig up a couple times that I've said. Like you could say, hey, look at emails I've sent my customers about negotiations or about explaining offers or explaining positioning. Go find me 5 examples in my email. Show me what you got.
I do. Yeah.
And that's just an aside, but like it was one of those things because you showed us the Gemini version earlier. But if you
Mhm.
got it right here already with Gmail,
Yeah. Of my, what are we saying? Give me
give
three
me three
examples
examples of my best communications with sellers about positioning their home, pricing their home, etc.
of my best examples of my best communication with
Pricing,
preparing to
preparation, positioning. Yeah.
Um, let's just see what I don't know if this is actually connected though,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. I just saw that linked on there. But if not, that is an interesting thing that someone who's more in an intermediate level could hook your Gmail or your Office 365 right up to Google, right up to ChatGPT by that clicking that little plus button down there to add it. and then
Yes,
it could actually do the searching for you.
exactly. Very,
Okay. So
and
anyways, that's an
if I were thinking clearly last night when I did, I probably would have done that with my Gemini prompt because that is
but anyways, it's kind of cool, you see, because like all these tools are now able to connect to your email. They're able to connect to these types of things. So you can actually leverage one chat framework, one company like a ChatGPT or Claude to then do that digging for you. So anyways, as an
yeah.
aside, that's just something you could do to actually dig into your emails for you, that kind of stuff. If you were like wanting to use ChatGPT, you could do that.
And I actually want to go further down this side because it's what you just described of all these little plugins
Oh,
that
look,
come
it told
up.
you it found three examples, Matt.
It
Sorry.
it did. I mean, all of these plugins, they're going to become more and more advanced. They're going to become more and more sophisticated, and they're going to become everything, I think. And we've talked about this in the past. We're going to just use ChatGPT or Claude, and we're not even going to log into our Gmail in the future.
Okay.
Um,
So out
so,
of
but
curiosity, before we close the loop on that little search we did, what did it dig up for you?
So it did digged up a few things. It pulled up, so it's not giving me the full
Yeah, it's giving you.
email, which is great. I don't necessarily want that. But it tells me what the email is. It allows me to open it in Gmail if I want to read the full thing. And it tells me why it thinks it is a strong overall example and gives me a quote from it.
So hypothetically, you could then paste your prompt in the next, right back into this thing, the input down below, and you could say, "Hey, please use those examples, and here's your next job."
Absolutely. So I would, and what I would do with that is I would use this prompt
Okay.
for that and
Yep.
just you reword it,
Yep.
right? What we just said.
Yep.
If you're at home and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're watching this right now, you can just read this and rewrite it and it will be totally fine. It will do the
Yep.
things still for you.
Okay.
Um,
Moving forward.
yeah, that's pretty awesome. I like that a lot. Um, this one is more about we're not producing a specific output with this. What we're producing is a operating context,
Okay.
we'll say. We're going to
Okay.
create a voice guide
Got it.
based on different examples. Again, what you feel
Okay. So this
is
one is not actually generating an email right now. This one's building a persona that you're going to then save.
exactly. Yep.
Okay.
It's going to produce an output, and I'm going to show you where you put those outputs to get consistent. The problem with
One is your evergreen kind of like, this is me. Use this every time.
exactly. So again, the last one was a one-off. If I
Got it.
wanted to sound like Paul Carlson, I could
Got it.
pull up three examples of your emails and get something for the last one.
Got it. Okay, I'm
This
tracking.
one is more about moving forward. And I did already, did I do this one? Mhm. Yes. So, I already wrote this one.
You
I'm going to
pasted it?
give you, yeah, I won't read the whole thing, but I'm going to give you several examples of my communication. This is the same prompt that we found here, part
Okay.
two. And then I just paste in all three, and there it's a long prompt, controls everything in there. And then it spits out this written voice rules. It will say, I'm not going to invent spoken language rules that aren't supported by evidence because I didn't provide any spoken word. The prompt asks for spoken. I didn't do it, so it just didn't provide me any spoken word
Okay.
stuff. But what it does is it creates a less than 8,000 character prompt that is, I mean, honestly, really, again, without changing anything, just giving it examples, I was really, really impressed with
Yeah.
what it came back with.
Yep.
And then what you do is you take this. So it talks about how I begin, how I organize information, how I explain trade-offs,
Basically creating a rule book for itself next time it writes for you.
exactly. How I establish authority, and then oh yeah, it goes in a little bit language to avoid, you know,
Yep.
things that I don't, and then questions that it should ask me before drafting.
Okay. So you've got this. Now what?
Copy.
Okay.
There's a couple different things that we can do with this. Um, the way that I most often use it is I will just start a new project in here and we'll say,
Matt's voice, or what do you call it? Or do you
no,
do?
this is So
Okay, got it.
yeah, this is going to be a project for Doc Brown and Marty McFly working
Okay.
a deal together.
Okay.
So Hillview off market, we'll say create the project. I just say enter. This is the old thing. And then when I go in, I just say it like, here's my voice. What did I call that? Prompt. Voice prompt. Use this in every chat moving forward in this project. Paste. And I just pasted the whole output from that last chat. So it's going to work on that. Now you can see over here in my projects, I've got the Hillview off market. And wow, understood. That's it. I'm not going to summarize anything. I'm just going to say, cool, we're
Got it.
good.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah, now I can go in here and I can do Hillview off market and I can give it the same type of prompt that I gave it before.
Oh, and it's got the voice prompt instruction listed below.
But this is a chat. This is the chat that we just made.
Yep, got it.
This is a new chat here, and I can hit enter and it will
To make sure I
go.
understand clearly, Matt, it's
Yeah.
using that other chat as that's the context window essentially. So
Mhm.
that voice prompt instruction down below, that chat we just did, that's the context for going forward.
Yes, exactly. The other way to do it. So I mean that will do it. I don't want to overcomplicate this.
No,
This
agree. No,
is this is step one in part two.
yeah. Okay.
To do this. You can do this, and it will do a great job for, working here, working this project for a couple of weeks. You
Yep.
might see it start to drift. ChatGPT has a very sophisticated memory. So does Claude. But this chat that we just did is not hardwired anywhere. The way to make it really, really stick is if we go back into our projects here, you see these three dots. You're going to go to project settings. In project settings, you have instructions.
Yep.
Now, this is a very specific, it can only be 8,000 characters.
That's why
It's
you prompted it for 8,000 characters. Yep.
exactly. So I'm going to go back and recopy all this.
Yep.
Uh, back three dots, project settings, instructions, boom,
Okay.
save. Now that is so great that we have this chat in here and I told it once to use it.
So
Now,
every time you build something now, it's gonna it's gonna run through that voice filter.
that is the first thing it checks anytime you write something in here now.
Perfect.
We're gonna run live and see how it goes.
All right, let's see what happens. Let's go,
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
It is, and it's going to be different than the first one. It won't be identical because I gave it more examples. It should be closer. Reading, writing, block, skills. And that's exactly it. Cool. It just went for it. It didn't even ask me the questions because I didn't prompt it in this one to ask me questions. I have not read this yet. I haven't run this yet. Um, so this is good though. This is pretty much exactly how I would write something. I try to start all my emails with like thank you. I want to relate to you in some way. I know
Yep.
Marty came over late night and he made an introduction. It was unconventional, but he
Yeah.
appreciated it. It's all just like really personal to begin with
Yeah.
about I understand the situation. And then I get into the meat and potatoes of it. So this is really solid. If you're open to the conversation, I'd like to sit down with you and Marty, walk through the proposal. I'm not saying take this 900 and leave it. I'm saying let's talk about it more.
Nice.
This is pretty solid. So
That's good.
That's step two. That was a lot.
It's a
Um,
lot, Matt, but I think like the fact that we have this video, plus you have that little guide where you can click through the next buttons on your, yep, this thing here. I think, listen, step one, remember we called it beginner. This is intermediate. All right. So
mhm.
now we've got, so I think that, Matt, what I think is good about that, and here's my question for you as the expert here. When you go, can you go back to your ChatGPT window real quick?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, could I hypothetically not make individual projects, but make one project called clients? And then I put that voice prompt in there, and then in that project, I make sub projects for
Mhm.
every single client I have, so that no matter who I'm talking to, it's going to run through my language voice model.
Yes. However, um, I don't know. So that's how I tried to start with ChatGPT. That's what I
Yeah.
did. Client files.
Yeah.
Be-do-do-do-do.
Yeah.
For me, it got really confusing. All the different things that I would need to do for a client, and then I have one client with just this really long chat because
I got it.
I don't know how to make
So
sub
your
files.
advice then right now, just to be clear, your advice is make a project for every customer.
Yes,
Okay.
make a
So that
project for
project
every
window is
customer.
not just simply real estate chats. It's each person you're working with, whether it's John Smith or 123 Main Street or
Hmm.
whatever, that becomes each person is each project is its own project folder, and then you
Yep,
just point it at that context of, hey, here's my voice context.
exactly.
Okay.
So, I mean, I had ChatGPT. I did away with ChatGPT to use the free ChatGPT. Then I bought ChatGPT again. Gone through a large journey with OpenAI over the last
Yep.
few months. But like, this is a client project. This is a client project. This would be considered a client project. This is a client project. These are projects I'm working on for Claude. So that's exactly how I do it. I don't want to go in because if I click on these, I know it's going to show the address, and YouTube has a really hard problem with us
Okay.
showing
We do
people's
have a couple of
addresses.
questions here. Matt, does this only work with the question basically is, does this work for the plus plan or do you need to upgrade to business? You're on
No.
ChatGPT Plus.
I'm on Plus,
Yep.
I believe, and I
Okay.
don't like, yeah, I don't pay for the expensive plans at
So
all.
all of these things you've seen here are basically available on like just your regular, user version of like the plus plan of ChatGPT. There's no enterprise plan for this, no business plan needed for this. Every one of us can get this. And Matt, do you know what you pay per month?
So I pay $20 per month,
Okay. Wow.
but
That's a
hold
lot of
on,
that's a lot of value for just think about $20 a month for a second here. We're talking three coffees?
Paul, you can do this in the free version.
Okay, you can do this in the free version. You'll your
Yes.
contract will be a little shorter, maybe.
You won't be able to upload as many documents, which ends up being really impactful later on. And the output isn't as solid. But like the process that we're talking about of these projects and putting your voice prompt into them, you can do that on the free plan.
Okay. Well, I just really quickly here, like when we think about $20 a month, like for me, when I think about like a ChatGPT or a Claude, I just think about the amount of resources at my fingertips for $20 a month.
Hmm.
Unbelievable amount of value for the return on the return there. I mean, it's astronomical the return you're getting. So if anyone's on the fence between a free version or a paid version, as Matt just said, you can get a lot done with the free version. You will be limited in terms of like how much usage you can do, right? Because they're giving you I mean, it's costing them money to run your questions, so they're going to limit you. But $20 a month, I think is absolutely worth a Claude or a Claude or a GPT subscription.
Yes.
Um, I
Let me
just
think.
if you're on the fence, just jump over the fence.
And I mean, this is we're sticking to like the voice prompt here. But if you're going to pay $20 a month, the options for you to use this machine and eliminate other apps that you're using that cost you 50, 100, $150 a month are significant.
Yeah.
Like I have Homebase and I have Claude, and that is my database now. I don't mess around with Follow Up Boss anymore or Buffini Referral Maker. Like, no, this is, and I still only use as much as I build in here. I only have a $20 a month
Hey
Claude
Matt,
subscription.
can I blow your mind and everyone's minds here real quick? So
Yeah.
I just want to put this out there. One thing we're working on at Five Star with home base. This is going to maybe go to the advanced section, but you saw that connector there where Matt could connect his Gmail and things like that to ChatGPT. Well, the good news right now is that home base, basically, we have basically duplicated the entire MLS, all the fives, all those stats that I have, everything that I have. We're going to be making that available via a connector, so you can connect your Chat GPT and your Claude directly to actual real-time MLS data, as well as all of our market stats, our monthly supply market stats, our pricing stats, everything that we have inside of our home base is going to be made available via an MCP server connection. So you'd be able to basically just connect that to here. So you'd actually, Matt, to take this a step further, you would say, please use real world comps. Please use real world market data based upon their zip code, their school district, or their city, and it would be able to go 10 steps further to use actual MLS data and then synthesize that down into like a, hey, here's a couple of really interesting comps in the area. As you can see, our month supply is 3.5 months, and you can see prices have climbed 10% over the past 12 months. And it won't be hallucinating, it'll be using real data. So I just want to like put that out there. And that'll be like maybe on a live stream next month, Matt. We can plug that in.
Are you that close?
I've been working on it in
Like,
the background. Yep. So
I
I've got a little more legwork to do, but yeah, we are going to be making it available to five-star realtors. So you guys will be able to turn your ChatGPTs into the smartest CMA machines, the smartest market analysis machines. You'll have all the data that I've built into our home base. And to give you what that is, I mean, that's every single market in Michigan, 90% of the markets in Florida, and we've basically have taken the data, rebuilt the entire MLS on our own database, and we're updating it every 10 minutes.
nice. This is so that I mean, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
I knew you were kind of working on it, but I didn't know we were
So
like
that's going to
close.
turn five-star realtors into absolute powerhouses here.
And it will just be one of these things where you
Yeah,
go
you'll
and you
just you'll just
click
you'll just do a
say,
connect plugin right there, and we'll give you a how to connect it up.
mhm.
You'll basically get a link plus an access token, which will be assigned to just you, so I can track your usage, and then you'll be able to just begin pumping data back and forth.
So is that dude, great job. I'm so thrilled about it. Is that like um will it connect our database portion of Homebase to Claude or ChatGPT as well, or is it just the data
Yes.
for
So
that from
you
the
will
others?
also be able to see your past production. You'll be able to see your current pendings. You'll be able to see your own income. You'll be able to see all of your commissions. You can be like, hey, you can really go, could you give me a report on all of my customers that I closed with in 2024? In fact, or you could go, I'd like to build a mailing list. Could you
Yeah.
please look at my Homebase account and could you get every single closing I've ever closed with five-star real estate? Or you could say, could you find every single MLS property that I closed because maybe you were at a different brokerage previously? So you could go, give me every single property I've closed with my account attached to a closing, and then give
Mhm.
me the address and as much information as possible. Now, the information when you close with me is richer because I know the sellers, I know the closing date, I know the commission amounts. The MLS, if you're querying it from the MLS, you'll have lesser amounts of data, but you will be able to see every single thing you've ever closed. So you will. I'm going to be exposing pretty much your entire universe just for you to you. So you'll be able to see
Mhm.
all of Matt's world will be exposed to you, plus all of our MLS data and all of our stats.
I mean, there's just a billion different applications for that I can think of off the top of my head for it. Like, cool, put it in a map for a marketing thing of like, these are the areas that I focus on. And
Yeah, can you please make a map of all of the properties I've sold in Rockford
yeah,
and drop pins on every single house I've ever sold in Rockford? I'd like to show my clients how prolific I am in Rockford.
yeah. I mean,
So
I'm
I just
very
want to kind
excited.
of blow the minds of the viewers real quick. Like we're thinking way, way, way down the road here, and I think that five-star agents are going to be probably some of the first agents in the country with this kind of data that they can plug into their own personal chatbots. I'm calling it like a BYOB, bring your own bot.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Um, I it goes to say what we were talking about earlier for just a brief moment, and that you're not going to go to Homebase eventually. You're going to go into ChatGPT or Claude, and it's going to do the stuff for you as it communicates with Homebase.
Yeah,
So,
so one question here that Brooke asks, she goes, "Can you tell us how to best only use Homebase and an AI platform?" So Brooke, what I was just kind of going through here is give me 30 days or so until I can release the MCP server stuff, and don't get confused on the names. Basically, you'll go into your profile, you'll like create a connection for whatever, ChatGPT or Claude. It'll give you a code that you'll give to ChatGPT. That'll basically help install it so it can connect to our data. And then hypothetically, Brooke, if you're like I'd like to create, here's an example, Brooke, what I would do. It's January 1. I want to update all of my customers on how their property's looking. I would go, can you please look at every single closing that I've done at 5 star, hypothetically? And you could say, could you please create a very simple market analysis for each of my past customers? I'm going to go to bed now. I'll see you in the morning. Please have them waiting for me. Now, you could use a lot of things you just heard from Matt today, where you can like your voice, you can train it on your voice, you can train it on your style. You could even like give me one example, and then together we'll determine that's the format that I like. Let's please use that format together. But then you could basically just give it a prompt where you go, I'd like you to build me 200 market analyses for all of my clients. Please output them into individual Word documents, hypothetically, or PDFs. And
mhm.
then you'd be able to then email them to all of your customers one by one by one. So like what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to basically leverage the data inside of the MLS, all of our stat snapshots we have on the market data center, and you'll be able to leverage all of your past transaction history. So that's what you'll be able to do. You'd be able to go do like a true market analysis. You could be like, hey, can you help me price out this home? And it will be able to go right into our system, query actual listings and pendings and solds that are right there available, and you'll have the entire brain of ChatGPT directly on your desktop looking at
Mhm.
our data. So you'll be able to basically just imagine something and then you could see if it works.
So really quickly, you like right now, if somebody wanted to, they could go into ChatGPT and say something similar. It like you would have to give it, you'd have to probably print out all of your past closings and
Yep.
put it in there and like go through this the long way. And when it doesn't have the connection to Homebase and Homebase doesn't have that connection to the MLS that it has, it will give you all the values. It will print up 200 market reports, but it's pulling that information from 70 different websites. It's got the Zestimate, it's got Redfin's
Yep.
estimate, it's got realtor.com, and it's not going to be nearly as accurate
Yeah.
as what you can do with Homebase.
Can I show you guys something real quick? Is everyone cool if I show you something? I'm going to show you right now what you can. You might not know you can do this home base, but Matt, I just want to show them right now what you can do. And similarly, to kind of show them the data you'll be able to get that right now your Chat GPT or a Claude cannot get because you just don't have the data. So
Okay.
let me give you an example here. I'm going to share my screen. um, of what you can do right now with home base and that can do a little bit of what we're discussing here. And now before I go, you guys are gonna get a sneak peek of home base version 2. Okay. No
Oh
one has
man.
seen this. So I'm gonna give you a snapshot of version 2. So this is version 2 of home base.
Nice.
Um, so as you'll see here, you have light mode, dark mode, and you have this fun little color picker. So you guys can pick and choose and customize your home base experience now.
Oh, that's cool. So I
Okay.
could brand it for my Grand Rapids house and
Yeah.
home business.
Yeah. So you can basically pick light mode, dark mode, things like that. You can also now customize this screen here. You can pick and choose which things you want to have on here. But I'm going to show you real quickly here. Right now, I don't know if anyone's ever tried this, but try this right now. Okay. It's querying the same listings API that you guys will get access to.
Hmm.
It's querying, I mean, it's looking at a lot of it. It found 10 properties it thinks are similar, right? As you can see right now. And now it's writing an analysis. And here we go.
Wow.
This is actual data. This is coming from real, true sold activity, real, true market data.
And this isn't like we're going to create a full CMA and go through the dog and pony show. This is like cool. Let's give some real context
Yep.
to what the data says. This is awesome.
Shows all your active competition.
It basically is a CMA.
Yeah, it's showing you pendings nearby. Market context. Here's your month. Here it's a 49506 as of July 2026. It's got a one month supply, median sales price, days on market, 75 actives, 56 sold.
What can I do with this? Can I like copy and paste
Yep,
it,
you
or
can
does it
copy and
produce
paste it. Yep,
something?
you can copy and paste it. You'll be able to email this to yourself. So right now I could be like, actually, I have, you could be like, hey, look, it has a brand new roof. It's got brand new windows. It's got a brand new landscaping, and you can begin updating it, and it'll reformulate it based upon your updates. So
Nice.
I don't know that a lot of people know this actually exists in here, but right now you already have Claude baked into Homebase.
Hmm.
So what do you guys think of the new format? I'm just kind of curious if you guys like the new layout. I was trying to clean it up because we're always trying to push this thing forward. So we're trying to reorganize things. And there's some other new features that'll be coming in version 2 as well. So yeah, but that was just a little sneak peek for everybody.
I
But
mean,
right now you can just go and you can do this right now. So imagine now inside of your own ChatGPT, you can do the same type of analysis and it's connecting to actual data, not just guessing from random websites all over the internet.
can we hold on one second? Like this, I love this. I love this. But all you wrote, if you could scroll back up, price out 844 less than that's it.
All I
So,
said. Now I have taught it, Matt, how I want it to behave.
okay. All right, right on. That is
So
not
you're
my
so you're
question,
looking
but
at
that's a
here.
good follow-up question. Because really quick, I just want to say, if you're at your desk and when this is plugged into ChatGPT or Claude, and you get a call, hey, can we see 123 Smith Street? Yeah, sure, I'll book it. Let's go in 45 minutes. Price out 123 Smith Street for me. I'm out the door, and I can look at that when I'm walking up to the house.
So I mean, isn't this amazing? Like it pulls in this it basically we have that's our listings API right there. It pulls in batch data AVM, pulls in Zillow's estimates.
Nice. So how have you trained it how
So
what
I,
you want?
I'm kind of like way, way, way down the road on AI.
Mhm.
So what I built, Matt, is a framework of playbooks. So depending on the type of question you're asking, I have built like maybe like picture like your projects window on your left side of your screen. I have built
Mhm.
like playbooks for all sorts of conversations.
Mhm.
But this is an example right here. So again, if no one's ever tried this, just try this. There's a lot of value in here that people don't aren't, and I should be doing a better job trying to make these things more available in public. But this is fun because now Matt and I are discussing it. I'm showing you this kind of stuff, and yeah. So anyways, not to belabor it, but this is the type of
This is
thing
awesome.
that we'll be able to do. I'm gonna stop sharing now. How do I do that? I'm
I have no
so there we go. There's Zoom. Okay, so I stop share. So that is a sneak peek at version 2. Now that little chat thing I did is available now. So that answers maybe Brooke's question how she can use AI. It has AI built into it already. So you can jump in there and you can use Homebase for some of these things. What Matt's offering you is more of a personalized experience where you
Mhm.
can actually make it sound like you. So now imagine taking the data I just showed you, marrying it with Matt's framework of making it sound like you, and now you have like a really interesting combination here.
Yeah. And I mean, if we get into part three, which is a shorter part because it's actually a much longer part. Way too long for us to go over in the 10 minutes we have left in this.
Yep.
But it aligns with kind of what you were talking about making these different playbooks is that you're going through and you're not just teaching your AI your mission, your voice, you're teaching
Mhm.
it your mission statement, your
Yep.
values as a realtor, how you operate with your clients, how you communicate with them comes third. And then also decision rules, which are guardrails, things that it cannot say or cannot do on your behalf. This is what I was training for the first 4 months of this year to different agents. And now it's baked into version 2.0 of what I'm doing but what I can tell you is that this is, let me just walk you through really
Yeah, let's do it.
the
Yeah, let's do
basics
it, man.
of it. So this isn't like a open up ChatGPT and start throwing prompts into it. This starts with a worksheet that is you answering questions about your business. And by the end of this first one. There are two. There's the mission statement, there's the canonical voice reference. When you're done answering these questions about your mission statement, excuse me, about your business, you have your mission statement, AI mission statement, you have your decision rules, and it'll show you just a couple examples, like who do you best serve? And the idea behind this is not like I serve buyers and sellers in West Michigan. This is I serve first-time home buyers. Well, why do you serve first-time home buyers best? Well, I explain things really clearly. All right, fantastic. That is a skill that can scale to people in huge homes that are moving down. They need the process explained really quickly, clearly, if they're
Yeah.
moving into a condo or something like that. So I would walk people through this training when we were doing it before. I'll show you the next version after this, but I push back on people to get the experience behind their answers because that is what we can teach to your AI to not just have it produce language that sounds like you, but to teach it why that language exists. And then, it talks about what types of home situation are you good at? Who do you not work well with? Why we all have people that we don't work well with. How do you advise your clients? What do you prioritize when you're discussing their options with them? All of these different things go in, and what you end up getting at the end is this, and this is a 9-page document.
These things more available in public. But this is fun because now Matt and I are just
So the AI mission statement, and it goes through and it basically, this is your operating context that when you go into a ChatGPT or a Claude, you then can connect that file
okay.
to that project that we were talking about. So instead of doing the system instructions, you're connecting that file into everything that it does. Um, let's go. And then the voice statement is the same thing. It's a long process. What I've done throughout this, though, is um,
Now, Matt, does when you
yeah.
do this, Matt, does this then cascade down through all of your communication on ChatGPT going forward?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the thing. So you can contain it to a prompt, you can contain it to your system. Like if you don't want if you have two businesses running in your ChatGPT, you speak to some people this way, speak to some people that way, um, then you don't want them crossing over. So
Yep.
I tend to just put it in each chat. Um, but it's asking really it's you writing into ask an email. It doesn't just start predicting the next word. It
Hmm.
starts,
It goes, well, how should I frame this? How would Matt want this? How does he communicate? Who's he talking to? It's using a lot more inputs because really
yes.
that's what these chatbots actually need is input. If you don't give it any input at all, it's just going to give you some random, average, decent sounding real estate template response.
Mhm. Well, and it's very much in alignment with what you were just talking about with Homebase, in that you ask it to write something and it doesn't have the context of the MLS that you put in there, and it's pulling from everywhere. It's just pulling. And so all we're doing is giving it context that it pulls from you
Yeah.
and how you operate in your business. And so then everything that comes out of it is much more in alignment with you. And you can then use this if you go into Claude or into ChatGPT. I want to create a strategy. I want to create a listing strategy for this person. It's going to know that you're not a high pressure salesperson. You're going to be more focused on like the neighborhood and showcasing that part as opposed to the features of the, like, we'll just know all of this about you already. So you don't have to go back and reinvent it every time that you do it.
Hmm.
Um, Now, what I've done with this though is you can go into Claude. This is my Claude. And we can start a new project and I can, whoops, we'll just call this a test. And then I'm going to connect my skill if it's still in here. Nope, you know what? I'm just going to tell it to run my operating foundation.
So Matt, that's so you save it as a skill or a foundation, then all you do is you basically kind of like tag it in like, hey, for this email, please use this.
Yes. Well, yeah. So what will happen when I hit this? I may have disconnected it last night when I installed this on somebody else's,
Hmm.
but yeah, cool. So it will ask me all the questions that were in this that are this, but it's just going to go through Claude and do it question by question. And when we get to the part where it asks about my spoken word, how I communicate, and scripts and things like that, I get to actually talk to it and tell it, and it will then transcribe what I am saying. So all of the written communication mirrors what I do, all of the spoken communication
So
mirrors
Matt,
what
is
I
this
do.
technically cowork we're looking at here? Is this Claude cowork I'm looking
This is co-work.
at?
Yes. So this is another, and I know we said we were going to stick to ChatGPT because that's where most people are working, but this is where Claude and ChatGPT diverge. And I believe you can get so much more out of Claude than you can ChatGPT. And that's why this is the more advanced section of this.
Okay. But doesn't and ChatGPT is all obviously working on their own like I don't know what they call it with ChatGPT. Is it called
It's
what's
it's
called work?
out. Yeah, just work.
This is called
But
work. Okay. And that's their kind of like competitor to the co-work.
yeah, and I mean, I will say it, I'm not super diplomatic about this. ChatGPT has just not been releasing great updates. They have been scrambling to follow Claude. They're n not the most sophisticated game anymore. Like Claude is the king
Okay,
because they're
one more question for you
yeah.
before we end. The question was, hey, before we end, can you ask ChatGPT to use all of your selection? I think what they're saying is like, can you tell it to look at all of your work that you've done with it already and say, hey, can you review all of our chats? And from our chats, can you develop my voice?
Yes, you can. It's a
Okay.
little bit dangerous because it's going to, I mean, the things that it produces are not your voice.
Yeah.
Right? You will have edited it a number of times, but it will. And ChatGPT, one thing I'm talking about how much I don't like ChatGPT right now. They did release something called Dreaming version 3, which is their memory upgrade, and it does remember things really well now across chats and
Yeah.
over time. Um, so yes, you can absolutely say, "Hey, build me a voice reference." And in fact, um, Claude has its own voice reference plugin. You can tell these things, I want you to sound more like me. Build me a voice reference. It will do it. The things that I'm giving you have just been hashed out a little bit more
Yep.
significantly to give you something a little bit better. Because again, the whole name of our game is trust.
Hmm.
And if we start
You're
relying
saying
on,
be a little more thoughtful than just kind of like running like shooting like buckshot at your, wall of all your chats. Like
yeah,
you're saying, hey, maybe be a little more intentional, give it like a few less examples, but find the ones you love. But to answer the question is you could absolutely like, hey, read my chats. What can you tell me about my communication style? Let's use that to build Matt's voice prompting here. You could hypothetically do it.
yeah, absolutely. You can hypothetically do anything.
Yeah, if you can think it, you can pretty much do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this is just the follow up to the end of what we have, but we'll
Cool.
put all of this into an email to go out to you guys so you'll have all the prompts for you. And then we'll put a link to the video and then some information about what we talked about today, and you'll have that follow up. So,
Awesome, Matt. Well, looking
yeah,
forward to that. We'll get this shared. Maybe Matt, if there is a link for this stuff, we could link it to this video too. Like just pop it into Connect, maybe. Just make sure they can go revisit this thing. But yeah, you guys will get
mhm,
an email from us. We'll follow up. Thank you guys, Matt. Thank you for your time and your sharing
absolutely.
piece with us. I think a lot of us do need a little bit, especially in the early days. Just give me a little bit of like a what should I be doing? So I appreciate that. I think a lot of people appreciate it as well. Um, and I
Absolutely.
hope you guys liked the home base version 2 preview. If you guys have any feedback on it, let me know. But I'm looking at a few weeks out before we get that out as well. But just refining some things. But again, wanted to just to simplify that and refine that a little bit. I always want to keep pushing forward. And if you've
It's
not
amazing.
used Alex, ask it to price out a property. Just look to see what it does. It's fun. Check it out.
Nice. I love it. Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Thanks, man. Have a good weekend, man.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
We'll see you.
Bye.